Good evening, everyone. Jacob from Theatrical Gems here. Welcome to the second of our summer virtual play series, Facing It by Jonathan G. Galvez. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in 2 weeks ago to our first performance, The Importance of Being Earnest. It was a fantastic show. We had a great audience giving us lots of great feedback, so thank you so much. Next, about tonight. So for those of you who don't know, Jonathan G. Galvez. John helped found Theatrical Gems with Claudia and I over 10 years ago. It's insane that it's been that long. John is an incredible playwright and actor, as well as educator. And we've produced a bunch of his shows in New York City. Next, I'm sorry to say that Rebecca Robinson Overholt, who plays Genesis, is unable to perform tonight due to illness. In her place, our director, Kristen, Keim, is jumping in. So tonight, the role of Genesis will be played by our director, Kristen, Keim. And we wish the best to Rebecca. We have 2 more plays coming up in our summer virtual series. First up, in 2 weeks, July 25th, we have Aaron Papalardo's Down to the Wire. You've probably seen some of Aaron's plays in our one-act series. This is the first of his longer plays that we are producing, and we are really excited. It is about 2 women who are trying to defuse a bomb. It is funny and thought-provoking and a little shocking, too, so we hope you'll come out for that. That play is rated PG-13, just so everyone knows. And then in another 2 weeks, so Saturday, August 8th, this is going to be fun. We are doing As You Wish It, or The Bride Princess by Michael Higgins. And that is a Shakespearean parody of The Princess Bride. Once again, really, really exciting, really fun. We have great casts and production teams for both of those shows, which we will be announcing really, really soon. So keep an eye on our Facebook page. That's it for this summer. We are still trying to figure out what we're going to do after that. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to be back in our building for a little while, but we are trying to figure out a few different ideas to incorporate the whole community. Hey, Jenny, say hi to everybody. Aw, thank you. I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's show, and also you might have noticed that we did not charge you for admission for tonight. That's because each one of our shows this summer is going to feature a local charity that needs your help. So this week we're highlighting the Friendly Community Center in Mountain Home, which is right in our backyard. They do tons of great work, and they have not been able to do any of their normal fundraisers. So during intermission this evening, you're going to hear from Nicole Abrams, who's the director of programming at the Friendly Community Center, and she's going to talk to you guys about what they do and how you can help. So thank you so much. Enjoy the show, and once again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, jacob@theatricalgems.org, and on with the show. Thank you.
The preamble of the federal Constitution says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." It was we, the people, not we, the white male citizens, nor yet we, the male citizens, but we, the whole people, who formed this union. And we formed it, not to give the blessings or liberty, but to secure them. Not to the half of ourselves and the half of our posterity, but to the whole people, women as well as men. And it is downright mockery to talk to women of their enjoyment of the blessings of liberty while they are denied the use of the only means of securing them provided by this democratic Republican government. the ballot.
David, what are you still doing up?
Go back to bed, sweetie.
Not until you join me. Come on, we have a long day tomorrow.
I have a long day. You have a day of sightseeing.
I told you could join me.
I gotta convince.
You don't have to convince anyone of anything yet. Your friend in the Senate got you here. You just have to shake hands, meet a few people. No reason you can't visit the Lincoln Memorial with me between all that.
It's just, this shouldn't be a big deal, right? All I'm doing is, talking to Congress about the future of education.
Not the whole future, just one aspect.
Yeah, and that one aspect got an egg thrown at my head.
Ugh, that was just one crazy person.
She had a point.
She did not.
You think?
Come on. How many students have thrown things at your head before?
Oh, those are just bored students. This woman called me a crime against humanity.
Still not seeing how she had a point.
She said that I had no right speaking out on behalf of women.
You're not, though.
Aren't I?
Okay. Do we need to have this conversation again?
No. No, you're right.
All you're here to do, sweetie, is ask a committee to restore the women's suffrage movement into textbooks and ask that a unit on women's rights be included as a part of the national core curriculum.
Well, when you put it that way, it sounds so simple.
I know you're stressed. I know you're worried, but David, you've spoken to how many people, been in front of how many mics before this?
This is the one that matters, though. Buck stops here. I can't convince these guys about the right thing to do. It's not going to happen. Plain and simple. And if they don't listen to me, they're not going to listen.
They have to listen. Who better than a history teacher to tell them what should be in history texts?
They don't have to listen to me. They don't. It's true. They make a dozen decisions every year without consulting teachers, for better or worse.
And if you can convince them, it'll all be for the better.
Yeah, so no pressure, right? Thanks for taking this trip with me.
I've earned some vacation days. Plus, we haven't gone on a trip since our honeymoon, and we had to pay for that. This free ride is nice.
Thank the senator. She made this happen.
And she wouldn't have if she didn't believe that you could make a difference. So stop worrying and come to bed.
What about the woman with the egg?
What about her?
She was angry for a reason.
So?
In every story I read in the history books, the why is always as important as the what.
She said why she did it.
But does she have a point? Do I?
You're seriously going to let a deranged woman in the street change your mind about why you're here?
It's food for thought.
Oh, David, you always think too much.
I thought you loved my brain.
Oh, I do. When you're thoughtful and when you're progressive and when you're forward thinking, but not when you dwell. Hey, quick question. That crazy woman, how did she know who you were?
I hadn't thought of that.
Has there been any press about your speech to Congress?
No. If there had been, your mother would have told us by now.
She does like to meddle.
Understatement. So how did she know? You think there's something bigger going on here?
Oh, now you're being ridiculous.
Well, how else do you explain?
You honestly believe that there's some conspiracy put in place by someone to affect your speech to Congress in regards to the future of women's history in public school textbooks? Let's see. Who could possibly be behind such a diabolical plot to remove women from the history books? The NRA? Westboro Baptist?
Stop.
Oh! Illinois Nazis. They're just the type to do this.
You're being silly.
And so are you. Come to bed.
Fine, I concede. I'll come to bed.
Tomorrow you'll talk to the senator and everything will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be. Illinois Nazis?
Blues Brothers, your favorite movie.
How did I ever marry someone as wonderful as you?
Don't dwell. Just accept it. Well, I guess if I take the... No, wait.
Are you sure you're going to be okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine as soon as I figure out where I'm going.
That's what worries me.
David, I'll be fine. Now, which way is the Washington Monument? How the heck did I miss that?
Are you sure you don't want to come with me?
Oh, and sit in waiting rooms all day? No, thank you.
Are you sure?
I'll be fine. I'll see you at dinner.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you more.
You.
You again?
You!
Stop throwing food at me!
You're lucky I don't have an egg this time. Male, chauvinist, fascist!
Why are you attacking me? Who the hell are you?
Fascist!
Stop throwing carrots! You don't even know who I am.
David Miner, history teacher, thinks he can speak on behalf of all the poor little defenseless women of the world. Fascist.
I'm an independent.
Yeah, right. Next time our paths cross, I'll be shoving more than a few vegetables down your throat.
What the hell does that even mean?
You'll know it when it comes.
You're crazy. You know that? Crazy.
Yeah, you better run. Damn it, now I find a tomato? Well, no use letting it go to waste. Hey, Congressman, you want to know what I think about your tax policies?
Listen, I told you before, the bill doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes, fine. Yes. No. 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 Yes, sure. Bye.
That sounded important.
Not as important as you. David, it's good to see you. I'm sorry about yesterday. I got stuck in a meeting.
It's okay, Carrie. As long as we got today to talk.
David, I know we're old friends, but I'd much prefer if you called me by my proper title.
Really? That seems kind of uppity.
Well, you call a doctor, a professor a professor. A title is a title, and it's only appropriate.
Yes, but they have advanced degrees. You have a bachelor's in event planning.
That only means that I best know how to please the public. Which is why you're here.
If you say so.
By the way, I'm sorry again for yesterday. My secretary told me you had a little incident after you left here. Someone with an egg?
Yeah. Ran into her on the way in, actually. I'm thinking of calling the cops.
Why?
Well, outside of the assault by produce 10 minutes ago, she knew my name. I think she's stalking me or something.
No, she's not. Genesis just, what's the word? Gets overly excited when it comes to certain issues.
Hang on, you know her?
Yeah, that's how she got your name. She told me what she did when I talked to her this morning. Sorry. She consults for my office every once in a while. Helped out in the campaign, especially on the college campuses. Let me tell you.
Hang on, you're not answering the question. Why does she know who I am?
Well, I had to run the idea by her, see how the extreme would take it.
Extreme?
You know, left wing, liberal. I had a guy in here earlier giving me the other perspective.
Well, hang on, you're having focus groups about me?
About your topic. David, if this becomes a big deal, both sides of the aisle are going to be all over this.
I'm arguing textbook content, that's all.
But think about the precedent. It started small. The removal of women's history from the textbooks, the suffrage movement, Amelia Earhart, and so on. Well, then it's not long before we're cutting Rosa Parks out of the unit about civil rights and Harriet Tubman in the part about the Underground Railroad. All deleted for what? What did removing women from the textbooks make more room for?
From what I could tell, more recent history, more about the Korean War, about 9/11.
Noble things to put into textbooks, important things, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much you can teach in a year, correct?
It's a constant boon of the history teacher.
So you have to pick and choose what does and does not get taught. Of course, from one perspective, there's only so much you can teach. There's only so much you can cram in between standardized tests and assemblies about global warming. But the choice is being made for you by the almighty textbook publishers and curriculum writers. What to teach? On one side of the aisle, it's government overreach, dictating what must be taught to children, what parts of history the government wants to be told. What's next? Fahrenheit 451, banning certain books?
They already do that.
See, it's already started. The more the government controls what goes into young minds, the more they become weak and susceptible to suggestion. So government can allow them to have as little or as much as they dictate, taking away the liberties Americans were born with. No one from that side of the aisle wants that. God forbid.
That's an extreme.
Not as much as the other side. Why women's history? Why women's history? Is it again the phallic-based institution, the male egocentric government that demands that women be relegated to second-class citizens? Taking it back to Bible days, they would argue, where women were nothing more than baby makers and seductresses. The history of women, deleted from the mindset of youth, allowing for the furthering of rape culture that allows a choir of men in religious garb determining what women can do with their bodies.
That's crazy.
That's the United States Congress. Your argument, no pressure whatsoever.
I doubt it.
Your argument to pass a bill requiring women's history to be included in the national standards could lead to larger arguments.
Well, hang on. I only humbly request a revision of the national curriculum, and now I'm trying to get a bill passed?
Why else do you think you're here? The school board didn't hear you out because they had no choice. State Senate couldn't do anything. And then I got wind of what you were doing, and I knew this was an opportunity to do something important. Now, I campaigned on women's rights. The mainstay of my campaign was ensuring funding for women's shelters. And it's because of that and my recommendation that you're being taken seriously by the Committee on Education. Sway them either way. The conversation begins and the debate rages on.
I'm not here to force a debate. I just want my students to have a broader view in their textbooks.
Okay, continue.
What?
Continue. Let me hear your argument.
You want me to do my speech now?
Oh, God, no. Do you know what happens half the time somebody goes up to a pulpit? Somebody tries to stop them, interrupts them, breaks their stream of conscience. If you can talk about your topic off the prompter, no script, no cues, you might just have a shot at making a difference. You want students to have a broader view? Go.
Well, there's only so much time.
You're wasting it.
Right, sorry.
Don't apologize, just talk.
Right, sorry. Sorry for that, sorry. Sorry.
David.
Okay. My students, my female students in particular, need to know what American citizens had to do in order to ensure that they have the rights that they have today. 200 years ago, a woman who worked was a novelty, and these days it's almost a requirement. And my students, and every student in the country, deserves to know why change happened and who made it happen, and the sacrifices they made in order to ensure that future generations didn't suffer the same fate as their ancestors. History is more than facts and dates. It's about the why and the result. Look around. We see the result. And my students have a right to know how we got here.
Sweetie, you've got a long way to go.
What do you mean? That was basically the same speech I gave to the state senate.
And did that do anything?
State senate can only do so much.
Not the point. Remember, every word you say can be taken out of context and turned against your argument. You say facts and dates don't matter.
No, I didn't.
Well, not in those words, but it can be interpreted as such. And if you care so much about teaching students about how we got to where we are, can't you argue that intelligent design should also be taught in the classroom?
That's not my field. I'm talking about history, not science.
But that is part of history in the eyes of some. More than you think, actually.
But that's not my argument.
But it becomes it. They're going to twist your words and find a way to trip you up. The majority of Congress is made up by lawyers, and they've had plenty of practice in finding ways to get the person on the mic to incriminate himself and disprove their own argument. It really doesn't help that you're a guy standing up for women's history.
Why's that?
A man speaking on behalf of women? It's suspect. It's why Genesis is so upset. They'll question why you're so interested.
It's history.
For one aspect, they'll say you have no right to speak about. That's at least the argument that Genesis is making.
By the way, Genesis, is that her actual name?
Legally, it's Jennifer. Genesis is the name the earth gave her.
Amazing. She has influence in the halls of the U.S. government.
There's a congressman that gets visited by a Buddhist monk once a month. Trust me, crazy is not in short supply in this town.
So you think they're really going to question a guy arguing for women's history?
It's possible, but a man having to speak on behalf of women sounds like modern culture to me.
You're one to talk. You won your election.
Yes, because the people chose me to speak on your behalf. The government does tend to be male-centric. I won't deny that, and I won't deny that I am using your position to help enhance the position of women in this system. You're just a pebble in the pond, old friend. Ripples that can last and last. Problem is, the strength of those ripples all depends on how the pebble lands.
No pressure, huh?
None whatsoever. They're going to come at you, both sides, saying this or that thing about you. Think it through and don't sway from your argument.
But does the fact that I'm a guy speaking on behalf of women harm my argument?
It does in a way. They'll say, what does he know about women? If it were me, I'd say, well, sir, you have 2 ex-wives and a mistress. What do you know?
And what should I say?
I don't know, but you have 3 days to figure it out. 2 p.m. on Thursday. Think you'll be ready?
Do I have a choice?
No, now. If you'll excuse me, I have to get back to some phone calls.
I thought you wanted me to meet with some people.
Yeah, that. Well, a lot of them got busy. We have a budget proposal coming up, and my suggestion would be to spend the day in your hotel room working on your speech. See if you can make the argument any stronger. If you have any questions, you can give me a call.
Everything considered, that sounds like a good idea. Thanks, Kerri.
Senator.
Right. Senator. Say, before I go, any suggestions on a good place to get dinner?
Someone was just telling me about a place called Farinello's. Oh, ask my secretary. She'll look it up for you. Probably get you a reservation.
Thanks. It was good seeing you.
It was good to see you too, David. Hello, this is Senator Delgadio. I was wondering if I could just get a few minutes with the speaker about Thursday morning. Yes, I'm sure he's busy, but I just need a few minutes of his time. Yes, fine, I'll hold.
No nation can ever be worthy of its existence that cannot take its women along with the men. No struggle can ever succeed without women participating side by side with men. There are 2 powers in the world, One is the sword and the other is the pen. There is a great competition and rivalry between the two. There is a third power stronger than both, that of the women. Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Wow. Didn't know we could afford this kind of place on a secretary and teacher's salary.
I'm still not sure that we can. Shark fin soup? You can eat shark?
As far as I'm aware, if it lives and breathes, you can eat it.
Ugh, so skunk could be a delicacy?
Oh, I said you could eat it. I didn't say it would be a good idea. Do you remember our first date? Mini golf?
Oh God, that squirrel!
Thought your ball was a nut. That sounded weird coming out of my mouth. So, how did it go with the senator today?
It went. Well, it happened.
Something wrong?
The whole thing just might be more stressful than anticipated. Spent the day trying to rewrite my speech.
Ugh, I'm sorry. But you do plan to sleep at some point, right?
I sincerely hope so. So how was your day?
Pretty cool, actually. Saw the monuments. Saw Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson.
Ooh, how was that?
Well, Washington was a stiff, and Lincoln didn't want to do anything but sit around, and Jefferson, if you really think about it, is just one big boob.
I have no words for that. I'm just going to smile and nod.
And that's why our marriage works. So how did you find this place anyway?
The senator suggested it.
Oh, she's even here.
No, she said she's only heard about it from someone.
Hello and welcome to, oh God, it's you.
Oh, well, that answered that question.
You're lucky I'm on the clock right now, or I'd clock you.
You like that wordplay stuff. I'm not sure it's working for you.
I'm sorry. What's going on right now?
Colleen, egg girl. Egg girl, Colleen.
Let me guess, you're his concubine.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't ask.
You chauvinistic moron. Ignorant of the plight of the world, egocentric only to the male domination of the species formerly known as the human race. Men like you are a vile poison to an otherwise peaceful world and stand for nothing but the phallic filth that spews like toxic waste over the land. Can I start you off with something to drink?
Water?
Water?
Way to be ignorant of the poor working class by denying them the opportunity for a sizable tip. I'll be right back to take your order.
What the hell was that?
The extreme left, from what I've gathered. If she's actually serving us, don't order the tossed salad. She'll end up tossing it on my head.
Just let me get this straight. That woman is the person putting doubts in your head? A crazy waitress?
And political consultant, apparently.
Who thinks the best way to talk to you is throwing food at you? That's the person making you doubt yourself.
Yeah. There's no ice.
Freeze it yourself with your own cold heart.
Excuse me, waitress.
I have a name.
Oh, what's your name tag say? Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
I go by Genesis. Jennifer is my slave name. Corporate slave name.
Dear God.
Look, for a waitress, you're being incredibly rude to your customer, especially considering a good chunk of your wage comes from our tips. Now, I'm sure that you don't talk to all of your customers this way, and I can tell you're very passionate about whatever you believe in, but me and my husband are just trying to have a nice night out. Tomorrow morning, you can do and say whatever you want. I'll even buy you the baker's dozen of eggs to throw at his head. But While you're on the clock, and while we are your customers, I expect to be served and serviced with respect. Or do we have to get your manager involved and have you go back to spending your nights picketing Greenpeace for killing the rainforest with wooden signs?
You're lucky your husband lets you out of the kitchen once in a while. I'll be right back with your complimentary bread.
I'm gonna cut her.
Honey, don't. Remember, between the two of us, you're the reasonable one.
Remember that bitch, sweetie. If that's what's giving you doubt, that's like getting medical advice from a fast food barista. That woman is nuts.
I know. And she works for the senator.
Seriously? Your friend listens to her.
She wants advisement from the extremes, see what they might say about my speech.
Since when does that matter?
Apparently it does. I am a pebble in a pond or something.
The senator said that to you. Yeah, she is definitely a politician.
She has a point, you know? Today it's women in textbooks, tomorrow it's women in office, equal pay, and the next thing you know, we're electing a woman for Dalai Lama.
Is that actually possible?
I don't know, but that'd be pretty cool.
And a heck of a thing for a resume. But aren't you thinking in extremes?
The senator told me to think about how they would take it.
But, well, what about the people that don't think like that?
She gave me the impression that in those halls, those people don't exist.
I doubt that. Look, whatever side of the aisle they're on, I'm sure they agree on something.
Not lately. Have you watched the news?
Well, maybe your issue could be the one they agree on.
You think I could bring unification to a thoroughly divided Congress? Thanks, I don't have enough pressure on me already.
That's not what I'm trying to do. Based on what you're telling me, the senator is concerned how you'll look to the extremes.
Hence my rewrites for the day.
But if you cater to their common sense and sense of common good, not only can you get what you want, but make them realize that their affiliations mean nothing in the grand scheme of things.
You want me to be the Frederick Douglass of history textbooks?
No, that's not... Dale was right.
Who?
David, can I be honest with you about something?
Always.
Do you recognize the name Dale Washington?
The writer?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I have like 10 of his books. Great history writer. His stuff on the War of 1812 was amazing.
Yeah. What was that war about?
It's a lot to explain. But he's a brilliant writer. He actually just came out with a new book detailing the mystery of Roanoke Island. And word is he's doing a new book on civil rights. I mean, the first two were great. Fantastic insights. Oh my God, I can't wait to see what he says next.
Oh, God. You are a fanboy.
Are you kidding? There's not a historian in this country that hasn't read one of his books.
Oh, he's actually a friend of mine.
What? Really?
Yeah, from college.
Well, wait, he's our age? God, I thought he spent decades working on his books.
No, he's just that good.
Well, how come you never told me?
He's very private for whatever reason. And after I saw his books on your shelf, I knew you'd want to meet him someday and ask him all sorts of questions he probably doesn't want to answer. I just knew you'd be a fan, but didn't know you'd get all teenage girly about it.
I am not being teenage girly. So do you have his number? Can I talk to him? Oh my God, what is he like? Oh my God, I don't even know what he looks like.
Oh, this kind of reaction is the reason why I've always been hesitant to tell you.
You know Dale Washington. Why are you only bringing this up now?
Well, I actually bumped into him at the Jefferson Memorial today, and apparently he's in town for a book signing.
He's doing a book signing? I thought he liked to keep to himself.
Yeah, it's like a rare occasion or something. I think you should go meet him. Talk to him about...
Oh my God. Oh my God, I get to meet Dale Washington?
David, drop the second testicle and listen for a second. I think it might be a good idea to talk to him about what you're going through. Maybe he can help.
How? He's never written about women's history.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. We can look up the time and the place of the signing when we get back to the hotel room, and you should go meet him. Tell him I sent you.
You're not going to come with me?
I think you two should talk on your own. Besides, if I'm there, he and I'll just start talking about ancient history.
That would be awesome. I'd love to hear his thoughts on Plymouth Plantation.
No, not that kind of ancient history. College stuff?
Oh, gotcha. What are you going to do?
Sightsee more? Tour the White House, visit the Smithsonian, check out the MLK Memorial, and stare up at his awkwardly carved crotch.
You know, you're really different from the girl who got freaked out by the squirrel on the putting green.
It's because of you. You taught me to be fearless.
I have been informed by my manager that I sincerely apologize for my improper conduct.
We appreciate that, I think.
I'll be right back to take your order.
Thanks.
Enjoy your bread.
We should go.
Yeah,
Pizza?
sounds great.
Women, poor people, people of color, people with disabilities, immigrants, gay men, lesbians, bisexuals, trans people, intersex people. We have been pitted against each other and made to feel like there are limited seats at the table for those of us who fall into the category of other. As a result, we have become afraid of one another. We compete with one another. We judge one another. We betray one another. Sometimes, even within our own communities, we designate who among us is best suited to represent us and who shouldn't even be invited to the party. As others, we are taught that to be successful, we must reject those other others or we will never belong. Having your story told, as any member of any disenfranchised community, is sadly often still a radical idea. Kerri Washington.
Oh my God, it's actually you. Oh wow, this is such an honor, Mr. Washington. You are just my favorite historical author. I have read all of your books.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I guess you want me to buy one of your books first. I understand you're probably a very busy man, and well, I know I'm gushing now, and I suppose I should buy one of your books just being near you.
Oh. Huh?
I mean, I've read seriously all of your books, and to meet you, oh, that is something. You must be like a walking encyclopedia of American history, and to hear you talk about it, oh, that is just amazing.
Uh-huh. Huh?
Of course, yeah, I mean, I guess everything you know you've put in your books. Why else would you write them? But I guess, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm flustered. I had no idea I was going to meet you today, and this is just so awesome. I'm David, by the way.
Oh. Hi. What?
I'm David, Colleen's husband. You ran into her yesterday. She told me I should meet you.
You're Colleen's husband?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Dale Washington.
You're Dale.
Yeah.
Dale Washington, famous American historian Dale Washington?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're...
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so who's he?
He's also Dale Washington. Say hi, Dale.
Huh?
My sentiments exactly.
Where's Colleen?
She's sightseeing. She's, so you're...
Yeah, can we move on?
I don't understand.
This guy is my decoy, same name. For the public stuff, he stands in for me. Ask him any questions.
I still don't get it. Why do you need a decoy?
I'm a writer of American history, and unfortunately, according to my agent, my publicist, and a few bad experiences, my face doesn't exactly exude historical America.
Because
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not.
yeah. And having a stand-in is a lot easier than having to go through this exchange every day.
Wow.
Not exactly who you pictured to be your favorite historical author?
Yeah, basically.
Why don't you have a seat? Let's talk.
Yeah, sure. What about him?
Huh?
DW, just sit there and look pretty.
Oh.
DW?
Decoy Washington. Colleen told me you're making a speech to Congress. Big deal. Congrats.
Just the subcommittee on education.
Well, still a big deal. Women's history, restored textbooks. Yeah, I'd fight for it.
Yeah, it's I'm sorry, I'm still a little confused.
Let me guess. You're thinking, why does someone who looks like me write about American history?
Yeah, I mean, well, let me just ask you, and I mean zero offense when I ask this, but where do you originate from?
Sandusky, Ohio.
I should go.
No, don't. You didn't offend me. It's very hard to offend me nowadays.
Apparently. I figured people like you would march out their lawyer after being asked something like that. And not that I mean you people as in you people. Oh, I mean.
I get it. See, this is why I have a decoy. A few years ago, I wrote about civil rights in America. Friend of a friend knew a publisher. He read the book, emailed me some great notes, huge praise, and asked to meet me, see about getting it officially published, distributed, marketed, etc. And then we meet. We play out something identical to what we just did, and then he asked me a question. What I don't get is, why aren't you writing for your own people? Oh, it took me a long time to think about that question without getting upset.
So what'd you do?
I went to another publisher. This time around, this marketing guy I knew, Tino, went on my behalf and said I was a busy recluse who didn't like to be bothered.
Then they bought it?
Oh, on the spot. They sent me the contract, I signed it, and after my book started selling, I decided to show the publishers my face. And he and my agent decided it'd be best that people don't know what I look like.
Because...
What business does an Asian guy have writing about American history? You're a history teacher. How often do Asians come up in your lessons?
Tojo?
Guy who planned Pearl Harbor. That's great. That's encouraging.
So their thought is that because you don't look
stereotypically American?
Sure, okay, fine. Because you're not that, they think they won't take your books seriously?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah? Explain your state of shock when I told you who I was.
Well, the onset shock, I mean.
Sure, and you're a smart guy. Colleen wouldn't have married you if you weren't a smart guy. And the hardest part about being a writer of historical texts is creating something that will engage and educate the average American. Can you do that when you don't look like the average American?
But your work is good, extremely good. And this country is diverse, open-minded.
Not as much as you think. For as far as civil rights has come, everyone is only equal before the law in a courtroom. Socially, well, racism, well, there's still a bias slant.
I'm not sure I believe that.
Oh, it is how it is. That's why I have DW sitting at a table instead of me.
Huh?
Just sit there, you're fine.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Huh?
Go.
Oh.
The fact is, people will believe that he is an expert on American Revolution before I am.
So because of what you look like, they won't take you seriously?
Yeah, unless I give them a book on Japanese internment camps or Asians in the building of the Transcontinental Railroad.
Why don't you? I mean, if they take you seriously.
But that stuff doesn't matter to me. Why should I alter my thoughts and likes in order to cater to their biases? They love what I write. People love what I write about. You're living proof. If I write a book about a topic that I'm not passionate about, it harms the writing. Why does what I look like have to dictate what goes on the page?
What does that have to do with it? Look, even after meeting you, I still highly respect you as an author and a writer. And knowing the words are coming from an outsider's perspective.
Okay, now you're offending me.
Well, you're
Look. I was born here and raised middle class. Went to college, got a degree, made a career for myself while under a mountain of student debt. No different than any other American my age. How exactly does that make me an outsider any more than you talking about women's history?
you have a point. I apologize.
Well, no, don't. I'm sorry. No, I'm the bitter one here. It should be me behind that desk. My picture on the back of the book jacket instead of a bunch of quotes from a bunch of experts who I doubt even read past page 1. I don't want to pretend to be the recluse. I don't. I want to make speeches, do lectures, talk about the Roanoke colony and Martin Luther King Jr. and Paul Revere and Cesar Chavez, and if it somehow piques my interest, Japanese internment camps. But I don't get to, as much as I'd like to. Sad as it is, in this world, appearances matter.
You're going to let public perception stop you?
Are you going to let it stop you?
What is it with people in this town and wordplay?
I'm sincerely hoping you came here to do more than gush over my work.
Well, yeah, I mean, this whole speaking on behalf of women thing,
You're not, though.
Aren't I?
You're just putting more pressure on yourself thinking that way. Do you think I wrote that book believing I was speaking on behalf of the lost colony of Roanoke, or was it just stating fact?
Fact.
So, does it matter?
But like how they judge you because you're...
No, let's not start this again.
They're going to judge me because I'm a man speaking for women's rights.
And that's stupid. Anyone who finds that offensive is a moron. Look, the world is full of crazies spouting their opinions. Some have their mic turned up way more than it should be. But this is what I believe. If someone different from you is defending your viewpoint, then your viewpoint is valid and therefore defendable.
God, your words are like poetry.
It's why I'm a bestseller, even if no one knows what I look like. Feel better?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Thanks.
Hey, agent, phone.
Hey, okay. Listen, I should take this.
Yeah, sure. I got to get back to work anyway. Listen, how long are you in town for?
Until Friday morning. Then they have me and my decoy heading to Atlanta.
Okay, great. Listen, after I do my whole speech thing, you, me, Colleen, we should get together and have dinner. I owe you.
It's not a problem.
And I'd love to pick that brain of yours.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
I mean,
the War of 1812, I tried explaining it to my wife earlier, but I did not know where to start.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, where do you begin? It's Americans, it's British, French, Native Americans, something about a map.
We'll talk about it later. Colleen has my card. Have her give me a call about dinner. Good luck.
Thank you. Again, amazing meeting you.
Oh, David, one more thing. No matter what hoops they make you go through, don't let them damage your integrity.
I won't. Thanks.
Hey, Mr. Bridge. Yeah, everything's great here. Just, the usual. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll call you when we're done. Okay, but yeah, I know, but yeah, I get it. Bye.
It's okay?
Yeah, let's get back to work.
Hey, boss.
Yeah, DW.
Why do we keep doing this?
Contractual obligations. Just doing what the people above us demand.
Huh. Oh. Nazis did that.
Just sit there and don't look so bored.
Okay.
It is obvious that discrimination exists. Women do not have the opportunities that men do. And women that do not conform to the system, who try to break with the accepted patterns, are stigmatized as odd and unfeminine. The fact is that a woman who aspires to be chairman of the board or member of the House does so for exactly the same reasons as any man. Basically, these are that she thinks she can do the job and she wants to try. Shirley Chisholm.
Senator.
David, there you are. I was surprised I didn't hear from you yesterday.
I've been hard at work.
You've been doing some rewrites?
Yeah, I've been up all night.
All night?
Yeah, all night.
Oh, I'm sorry. Senator, this is my wife, Colleen.
Oh, you brought your wife. You didn't tell me.
Didn't I?
It was a last minute thing.
That's right. Sorry, it must have slipped my mind.
Uh-huh, yeah. So, Colleen, have you been enjoying your time in the city?
It's been fun. Yesterday I got to sit in Amelia Earhart's plane.
You're allowed to do that?
No.
Ah. Well, anyway. Oh, Colleen, could you be a doll and could you get us some coffee? My secretary can tell you where to go.
Can't she get it for us?
Oh, she's very busy. I want her at the desk at all times, and the coffee girl hasn't come in yet, so could you be a dear and do that? Me, 2 creams, no sugar.
Okay, I guess. David?
Nah, I'm good, thanks.
David, it's free coffee. Take it.
Fine. You know how I like it.
Always.
She has to go.
What?
David, I've got to be straight with you, but a few things. I may have, said a few things to get you into that room tomorrow.
Carrie, what are you talking about?
Look, you don't just get to speak to Congress because you have a gripe. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you get to do it because you know people. I'm here because I know you.
Yeah, and I was hoping to introduce you to some other politicians so that they would know you and give you more credence in the room.
But what happened?
They balked. They got busy. Whatever. Things didn't go as planned.
So what now? So I've spent 2 days on a speech that I'm not going to get to give?
Oh no, you'll make it. Look, women's history, women's rights, big topic for discussion. We could open Pandora's box with what you have to say.
So what's the problem? What does my wife have to do with this?
Well, in order to make sure they listen, I had to make a few things up.
Such as?
Well, first off, you're not a history teacher. Don't ever say that again. You are a senior educational administrator with the National Educators Association.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, let me ask you, are you tenured?
Yeah.
A teacher?
Yeah.
Do paperwork?
Tons.
In the union?
Of course.
C. Senior Educational Administrator in the NEA.
It's a meaningless title.
So's the title of Vice President. It just looks good.
Why am I doing this?
Well, they questioned your credibility. 10 years as a teacher wasn't enough. You have to sound impressive.
Okay.
And gay.
What?
They couldn't make sense of a man speaking about women's rights, so I told them you were gay.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Well, it does for them. What does a straight white male have to say about women's rights? Not much, because he's a straight white male. Make him gay? Well then, he's not just making a statement, he's preparing for a bigger statement about gay history and gay rights. This is just his way in the door. By being gay, you're being brave.
Why is gay rights an issue all of a sudden?
Well, it isn't tomorrow, but it's going to be. Precedent. David, it's paramount here.
Look, I'm just asking for a more well-rounded textbook, that's all.
But it can lead to so much more.
I don't want it to lead to anything more. All I care about is the students and their education. Why do I have to pretend to be something that I'm not just to get it done.
Well, you're not really pretending. You're just letting a few lies be believed. Hardly news for the House of Representatives. Look, David, this is my expertise, okay? I'm marketing. It's strategy. It's a show. You need some kind of hook to get them in the seats and pay attention. A gay man in a seat of authority, brave enough to stand up to Congress. That's remarkable. That's noteworthy. Joe Schmo from a school in the middle of nowhere comes to town. No one cares. The press isn't going to cover that.
The press? Is that what you're concerned with?
Well, I'm not going to say it's not at the back of my mind.
You said before you were, in a way, using me. I didn't know I'd have to lie about who I was.
It's called politics. David, I'm a freshman junior senator. This is my chance to make waves.
And what about women's history?
Who cares about the past? We'll be making history now. And to do that, you've got to get in the room first.
I don't believe this. I trusted you.
Look, David.
All I cared about was, why would you do this?
Given the chance, you would do the same thing.
I would hope not. I'm not going to lie to a room of people about who I am.
You don't have to. Don't even bring it up. Just let them believe what they want to believe. Look, we have to be smart about this. You want it in the room? Fine. I got you in the room. But if you don't go with the story of being gay, then nothing that we've done will be worth it.
So you're saying I have to harm my integrity to get what I want?
That's life.
It shouldn't be like that. This face value stuff, it shouldn't be like that. It's just like what's happening to Dale.
Who?
Let me ask you something and be honest. If I wasn't a white guy from the suburbs, would I have been given even a chance to talk?
Based on what I've seen, on my experience, you wouldn't have even gotten into the office.
We're done here.
David.
Carrie, enough. I'm done.
David, problem?
Oh no, is the coffee maker broken again?
No, her.
Who?
Her?
Where is he?
Her. You remember Genesis, right?
What are you doing here? Here to peddle your masochist's macho mantra?
Listen, you can stop harassing me. I'm not making the speech.
You're not?
No.
And why the hell not?
Look, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Colleen, let's go.
Okay, what did I miss?
Sweetie, come on.
Ordering your woman around? Typical male bossing around his property.
Now, hold on. Listen, you little...
David, calm down. I got this.
Whoa.
Now we can go.
Was it something I said?
Hi, I'm Nicole Abrams, and we're at the Friendly Community Center today. For those of you who are not familiar with the Friendly Community Center, we're a nonprofit community center. We focus on offering programs for people in the community and surrounding counties over 50. We offer relaxation programs, exercise programs, lifelong learning programs. We also have community partners that come in and rent our facility. We have AA meetings, Broadhead Watershed, and we also have the Barrett Township Historical Society. As well as Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have the Monroe County Agency on Aging comes in and they offer their Barrett Senior Center, which offers meals at a very low cost or no cost to the senior, and they offer activities for them to participate in. Okay, as being a nonprofit, we're always out there looking for donations, offering great fundraisers, and of course we get grant money. We are not funded by the state or any kind of tax money, so this is always a struggle, especially now during COVID. We have to be a little creative. One of our creativity ideas is the flamingo flocking. You can have a friend or a foe flock by simply contacting us, or look out, somebody might be waiting to get in your yard with these little guys. If you're interested in flocking or making a donation to the Friendly Community Center, you can access our website at www.thefriendlycommunitycenter.org. It has all the information about donations and a way that you can participate in the flamingo flocking. Okay, and if you're interested in becoming a member at the Friendly Community Center, right now our building is closed, but we are offering our programs online, and some are at outdoor venues. Our memberships are very low. You can attend programs like Cardio Fit, Bar Fitness, Mahjong for less than 50 cents a day. So if this is the right fit for you, go to our website. You can send me an email at info@thefriendlycommunitycenter.org or leave a phone message at 570-481-4330. Hope to see you soon.
Equality is not a concept. It's not something we should be striving for. It's a necessity. Equality is like gravity. We need it to stand on this earth as men and women. And the misogyny that is in every culture is not a true part of the human condition. It is life out of balance. And that imbalance is sucking something out of the soul of every man and woman who's confronted with it. We need equality. Kind of now. Joss Whedon.
Are you not going to tell me what happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's just go.
Just wait a second.
What?
Since the first day we met, we've never kept anything from each other. You taught me to say what I'm thinking and be fearless, for better or worse, and now you're not telling me why we're suddenly leaving? What happened in the senator's office?
They're using me, Colleen. She's using me for her own personal gain, and I have to lie about who I am just to get heard. And I am not okay with that. I'm not okay with that.
Didn't it happen?
I trusted her. And I thought my message was important enough that I didn't need a marketing ploy to be heard. It's stupid.
Yeah, that, but wouldn't it be worth it?
You think the means would justify the end?
They rarely do.
Oh, Dale. Longer.
What's going on?
Colleen called me. Told me something happened. Thought I could help.
Well, there's nothing you can do. You would understand better than anyone else that no matter what your message, you shouldn't be someone else's monkey.
David, unfortunately, this isn't a world where you can afford to make compromises. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, stuck on the sidelines, unable to do what you want, say what you want.
Yeah, but I get heard. At a price, yes. It's what you have to do.
I don't believe that. Did General Washington compromise? Did FDR?
Probably more than we'll ever know. But I haven't written that book yet.
You believe in this too much. You shouldn't do.
Listen to her, David.
Look, I don't want to hear it. We're going. Colleen.
So, what's up? What happened?
The senator, Kerri said that the marketing is more important than the message.
So?
If that's the case, why even talk? Let it all be about the cosmetics, the politics, the press. You know why I like history? When you strip away all of the layers, all you get are the facts and the truth. And my entire time here, I've been trying to get to that, only to discover that it doesn't matter, that no one cares.
David, you know why I like history? Because it's not just one thing.
I don't follow.
Much like people, historical events are multifaceted. War of 1812, you want to talk about that, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I understand why it felt hard to explain to Colleen. It was America's most complicated border battle. On the one hand, you have the battle over the Canadian border. On the other hand, you have the battle of the merchant ships at the sea with the British. And then we had the Gulf Coast War with the Native Americans. Attacks coming from all sides. It's hard to tell a streamlined story about what the war was about because there were so many things going on at once. And even with that, the reason no one remembers what the war was about was because no one really won. It just kind of happened.
Treaty of Ghent.
Oh, yes, exactly. Everyone went back to their pre-war corners and moved on. Most textbooks skip it because they don't see the relevance. But if you look at it another way, it's one of the most brilliantly fought wars ever because it was the only time America was ever surrounded. And the most overextended the British Army had ever been. Despite this, no one lost. No one won, but no one lost.
Lives were lost. And for who? For what? If someone definitively won, I think it'd be easier to explain.
Oh, sure. No one really won the war, but think of the lasting effect of it all. An improved British military, a push for expansion into the American West, the establishment of Canada as a world power. Most people don't think it mattered, but if looked at it in a certain light, it could have been one of the most important wars ever to occur.
I'm going to have to reread that book of yours.
I suggest buying the second edition. It was just released last week.
Is there a difference?
A few more color images. Plus, if you buy today, I get an extra 10-cent royalty and can upgrade to the large combo meal for dinner tonight.
So what are you saying? Even if it doesn't make a difference, make the speech, compromise, and so on?
That's completely up to you. But if I were you, I'd take every chance I get to say what was on my mind. Speech in this country is free, but getting people to listen to you often costs a little something.
It just doesn't feel right. Lie about who I am to make a point?
Politicians do it every day. It doesn't look that hard.
Yeah, well, I have a moral compass. Weren't you the one who told me to maintain my integrity?
Admittedly, that was a mistake. I'm the last person you should listen to when it comes to integrity.
Why do you let it happen, though? How can you let them do that to you?
We accept the reality in which we're given. That's just how it is. We allow ourselves to be a reflection of the world around us. If there was another guy like me who didn't look like what they wrote about, maybe I'd be a little braver. But I'm not. And I accept that. Mostly.
Seems like a silly reason to hurt your dignity.
At least I understand why it is how it is. I think you're a lot like me when it comes to history. It's not just about the event and the result, the why. The reason why things are as they are is just as important.
Yeah. Colleen doesn't seem to get that.
Yeah, she never did. That's why she was an English major in college, always loved her fairy tales. In those, you don't ask how the 7 dwarves got there, who built the tower Rapunzel was trapped in. Princes didn't even need names, they were just adjectives. So what's your why? Why do you care so much about getting women's history back into the school textbook?
Me and Colleen have been thinking about having kids.
That's great.
Yeah. And when I saw the new standards and what was going to be in the textbooks, I began thinking about what my daughter is going to learn in the future. History is about more than wars and sit-ins and dates and facts. There needs to be a way in for her to access that, something that draws her in, makes her love it as much as I do. And she's not going to get drawn in by the looks of Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Oh, he was a looker, though.
My point is, I don't know what kind of father I'm going to be. But if she has at least an appreciation for history, then we'll always have that, no matter how we get along.
I'm assuming you didn't get along too well with your parents.
We could never connect. We can never find that point where our interests met. But if my daughter were to start asking me about Sally Hemings, Amelia Earhart, Emma Goldman, Susan B. Anthony, Sally Ride, that'd be a dream come true. And if female students across the nation got interested in the same way, that'd be cool too.
You know, there aren't that many Asians in the textbook, so I don't fully understand how one needs to relate to history to appreciate it.
So how do you get into it?
That's funny, actually. The first book on civil rights movement, I wrote that because of the amount of racism and crap I've dealt with over the years. Did my research, put it on paper, thought I'd give getting it published a shot. Every other book after that, I wrote it because they said I couldn't.
Like how a man can't speak about women's history without being gay.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Just forget it.
Look, David, facts mean honesty. So honesty is the driving force behind our field. Politics and aisles aside, if you speak to Congress and speak truthfully from the heart, you might actually get something done.
You have a good point.
Yeah, it's like I'm a writer or something. You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out. I could see why Colleen married you. Integrity, intelligence. Oh, I wish I had your guts.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
If it's about the Spanish-American War, honestly, we don't have the time.
No, you and Colleen, you were close in college?
Yeah, real close. Lost touch after we graduated, though.
Yeah, that happens. And we're very similar, you and I.
With one obvious difference.
One of us is a best-selling author.
Sure.
Well, forgive me if this is out of left field or anything, but did you two ever get together?
One of the great regrets of my life was being friend-zoned by your wife.
Friend-zoned? Interesting.
Why do you ask?
I was just curious. Thanks again for the advice.
You're very welcome. Now go see your wife.
Let the watchwords of all our people be the old familiar watchwords of honesty, decency, fair dealing, and common sense. We must treat each man on his worth and merits as a man. We must see that each is given a square deal because he is entitled to no more and should receive no less. The welfare of each of us is dependent fundamentally upon the welfare of all of us. Theodore Roosevelt.
So, the good news is tomorrow he'll be giving a speech to the committee.
If you call that good news.
Listen, I know how strongly you feel about women equality and feminism and the not shaving your leg stuff, but did you really have to consistently attack him?
He had it coming. Typical male.
Even though he's defending the same issues as you are?
He shouldn't have to speak for us. If anything, someone like me should go in there and talk.
Someone like you, who'd open the speech by going on the attack.
A good defense is a good offense.
That is not how it works.
Then enlighten me. Tell me how not being aggressive with your words gets the attention of the people you had to lie to.
I did it for a reason. They weren't going to listen to him otherwise.
I don't get it. Why the hell did you have to say he was gay?
It opens it up and makes it a hot button issue. And if one or two of the congressmen on the committee were in the closet, well, it would help his odds of success.
Do you even care about what the issue is?
Of course.
No, I don't think you do.
Jennifer.
Genesis.
Whatever. When you're playing the blood sport of Washington, you have to work every edge to get what you want. Yes, if he's successful, I get a little more credit. Perhaps some power in the Senate. That'd be helpful. That'd be nice. I'd be able to push a few more things. Get that funding back to Planned Parenthood like you wanted.
Thank you very much.
Maybe raise some money for female candidates during this election cycle.
And lock your re-election.
Well, I can't make a difference if I'm not reelected.
Are you really going to make a difference, though? Right now, you're making it look like the only way our issues can get attention is if a man brings it to the spotlight.
If that's what has to happen to make change, so be it.
Shirley Chisholm would be so proud.
Look, it doesn't matter what you and your uber feminist friends think. David knows what he's talking about. And man or not, he has the right to say what he believes. For women's history, against, it doesn't matter. He's being given the mic, and people will listen. Unfortunately, the reality is what David wants is not going to change anything. It just revert things back to the way they were a few months ago.
Let me ask you something. Do you honestly believe that the removal of the women's suffrage movement from textbooks wasn't a part of the male egocentric attempt to disregard the rights of women?
Well, that's some conspiracy level stuff there, Genesis.
So you do think it's possible?
I think it's a brilliant plan.
Told ya.
So brilliant that there's no way that anyone in this town came up with it.
Come on! If the government wasn't interested in keeping women down, there wouldn't be a pay disparity between the genders.
That is on the individual companies, not the government. Male and female minimum wage are the same.
And why is that? Because at those companies, like the government, men are in control.
And why do you think that is?
Because they're phallic-centered.
Hold on.
I can't even.
I am going to stop you right there. Before you go on this rant, the fact is men are in the seats of authority because they have the most experience. This goes back a couple of decades. We're working up the ladder. That's all it is. There's no better or worse gender, just the one who's had more time in the captain's chair.
And why hasn't that changed?
It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing does. If you're a guy, you don't go from the mailroom to the top floor in a week. Unless it's a Broadway musical.
Of course.
We have more women in the House and Senate than ever before in history. And change comes one election at a time. Scream all you want. Throw all the eggs at whomever you desire. It doesn't make change come any faster. Not without a lot of patience, a lot of compromise, and a lot of work.
That's deep.
Yeah, well, I've sat through too many committee meetings led by men that have no idea what they're talking about to think otherwise.
You should have put me up on the mic. I'd talk about his issue, but I'd put it in the right perspective.
Genesis, there is no right perspective, only the neutral one, which honestly, people like you have trouble having.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
The only way anything gets done in this town is if it's marketed to both sides of the aisle, no matter what the issue. David can do that. At least I think he can.
Think? You're betting on him based on what you think?
Well, I think it's going to be fine.
Have you read his speech?
It's going through rewrites.
Ha! You trust him?
I don't really have a choice, now do I?
Typical male-centric attitudes.
You know, you are lucky you're my cousin, or I'd have had you banned from my office months ago. By the way, are you going to the family reunion?
Trying to find an excuse not to go.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to say I have a budget meeting at the White House, and then spend the weekend in my sweatpants on the couch. I'll say you have to be there if you agree not to throw any more groceries at politicians.
For a week.
Ever.
Month.
Year.
Deal.
Hey, thanks for coming to lunch. I know you're probably busy.
Oh, I had an hour to kill. This place is nice.
Yeah, I was here the other night.
Huh. So I can ask why you asked the maitre d' the name of every waitress working today?
Sanity? Long story. Don't ask.
I won't. Where's David?
Doing some final punch-ups.
Did he sleep?
Barely.
I'm sure that's healthy.
Hey, thanks for helping him yesterday.
Yeah, crisis of confidence. Happens to all of us once in a while, especially writers.
Just glad he's going through with it. Win or lose, if he didn't, he would have regretted it for a long time. That's just how he is.
Yeah. Me and him are a lot alike, I think.
I think so too. I think it's one of the reasons I married him. Reminded me of our glory days together, you know?
Yeah.
You never told me. Is there a woman in your life?
No. Used to be, but, things happen.
Oh, trust me, I understand. Had this really weird relationship before I met David. Did not end well.
It happens.
Yeah.
Can I ask a potentially awkward question?
How awkward?
David told me you're thinking about having a baby.
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times. Not sure I'm ready yet. It's weird. He's raring to go, and I just kind of want to live life a little more before that happens.
That's awesome. It's great.
Yeah. That wasn't a question.
What?
You said you wanted to ask me an awkward question. That was neither a question nor awkward.
No, that was it.
Dale, in all the years we've known each other, we've never lied to each other. Don't start now.
How come we never went out?
What?
Back in college. How come we never got together?
I don't know. We were different people then. It just never happened.
But you married the guy who reminded you of me.
You were my best friend. Of course I married someone like you.
Then why did we never become more than friends?
Dale, I had no idea you felt that way about me.
Okay, now you're lying to me.
Dale.
No, seriously, you never got the hint that I was interested in you.
No, I got the hint. I just couldn't because...
Because what?
It's complicated.
It's been like 10 years. How complicated could it be?
Dale.
Come on now, what was it?
I was a very different person back then. A lot more timid and shy than I am now.
And David helped change that.
Yeah, well, him and a lot of things.
Who says I couldn't do the same?
That's ancient history.
Oh, seriously, out of all the times, even back in college, you never got the hint. You never had one single idea that I just wanted to...
It was my mom.
What?
Do you remember that one Thanksgiving you came to my house?
Yeah, it was fun. Awkward, but fun.
And for a good reason. Before we got there, I never told my family that you were...
Oh, please tell me they thought Dale was a girl's name.
I wish.
I don't believe this.
After dinner, my mom pulls me aside and tells me, "Don't you dare date that boy. I don't want to see you dating someone like him."
And you listened?
Back then, my mother talked. I listened. Hey, we stayed friends.
You think that's what matters here?
Dale, my mom is not a racist.
No, she just prefer you date a nice, safe white boy.
Well, I'm sorry. I wasn't as independent back then as I am now. It's not like there's anything we could do about it. It happened a long time ago. Let's just move on.
I regret it every day I didn't speak up and say how I felt. And now I found out that it didn't matter because of your mother.
So why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you say something? I may have been swayed by my mother, but who's to say you couldn't change my mind? Change her mind, even. Listen, Dale, don't be mad. It's not worth it. And don't overthink it either. I know how you get.
It just kills me. The only difference between me and David is skin color. Between me and every other writer. And I'm the one who has to be kicked to the side all because I don't look like everyone else or fit a stereotype.
Dale, that's not true. The world is not racist.
Yeah. It's not black and white or this or that. It's more complicated than that. It's not as simple as making a law or changing someone's mind. We accept the world that's presented to us. Guys like me, we don't fit, and maybe it is my own fault for not speaking up. but I've always known that guys like me don't fit, especially with girls like you. Look, I gotta go.
Dale, don't.
Maybe we'll have dinner tomorrow. I don't know. We'll talk. Bye.
Ignorance and prejudice are the handmaidens of propaganda. Our mission, therefore, is to confront ignorance with knowledge, bigotry with tolerance, and isolation with the outstretched hand of generosity. Racism can, will, and must be defeated. Coffee Annan.
Oh, good. There you are.
It's been an hour. What's going on?
From what I'm being told, they're still arguing about school vouchers. Something.
Am I going to get a chance to talk?
Don't worry, you will. The press came for a reason, and they're the last people they want to disappoint.
Wait, hang on. The press is here?
In the room. Right now, they're just taking courtesy shots and footage. You're the main event.
What happened to there being no pressure?
That's just something people say. Look, with the press in there, no one on the committee is going to interrupt you. They don't want to risk looking bad in front of the camera. They want you to do that for yourself.
I'm sorry.
You'll be fine, though. Don't stress. That's the important part. I'm gonna go and check, okay? I'll be right back.
Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?
Huh? Oh, driving Dale. He said meet here. You seen him?
No.
I'm gonna sit down.
Okay.
You speeching?
What?
Are you speeching?
Yeah, I'm giving a speech.
Oh, speeching. Good.
Yeah.
You know good speeches?
Yeah, I guess.
I know good speeches.
I'm sure you do.
Read a lot. I know good speeches.
Sure.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton.
I'm sorry?
You know Elizabeth Cady Stanton.
Sounds familiar.
Women's rights. Made great speech.
I should probably have known that one for today.
She say good things.
Oh, yeah?
To appreciate the importance of fitting every human soul for independent action. Think for a moment of the immeasurable solitude of self. We come into the world alone, unlike all who have gone before us. We leave the world alone, under circumstances peculiar to ourselves. No mortal ever has been, no mortal ever will be, just like the soul launched on the sea of life. There can never again be just such a combination of prenatal influences, never again just such environments as make up the infancy, youth, and manhood of this one. Nature never repeats herself, and the possibilities of one human soul will never be found in another. No one has ever found two blades of ribbon grass alike, and no one will ever find two human beings alike. Seeing, then, what must be the infinite diversity in human character, we can, in a measure, appreciate the loss to a nation when any large class of the people is uneducated and unrepresented in government. We ask for the complete development of every individual, first for his own benefit and happiness. In fitting out an army, we give each soldier his own knapsack, arms, powder, his blanket, cup, knife, fork, and spoon. We provide alike for all their individual necessities. Then each man bears his own burden. Good speech. Good speech.
Yeah.
Hey, whew, I made it. Did you speak already?
No. Where's Dale? I thought you had lunch with him.
He had to leave early.
Where, Dale?
I don't know.
I'll go find him.
Where are you going to go look?
I don't know. He's somewhere. I'll just find out where he's supposed to be before he does. Hey, Speecher?
Yeah.
I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false and incur my own abhorrence. Frederick Douglass say that.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks. You ever get the feeling that it's going to be one of those weird days?
David, you're on.
Showtime, sweetie. Good luck.
The subcommittee on early childhood, elementary, and secondary education will come to order. Our discussion continues on the upcoming national core curriculum requirements being implemented nationwide within the next 3 years. The chair now recognizes Senior Educational Administrator from the National Education Association, David Minor. Mr. Minor, you may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, members of Congress, and thank you to Senator Del Gaudio for helping arrange my presence here. Over the last few weeks, I've reviewed the changes to the public school history curriculum that this committee wishes to make part of the national core requirements. And while I support my Congress, God bless America and all that, I was dismayed to see that chapters and units on women's suffrage, women's rights, and women's history have been deleted from the standard curriculum. Now, I understand there's a lot to teach, at least 200-300 years worth of history that we have to teach students over the course of just a few years. And we have to pick and choose what gets taught and what doesn't. That's just the nature of it. Now, I can ask the question to you, members of Congress, why women's history? Why delete that? But that would be time ill spent, I feel. I'm sure you have your reasons, as I have mine, to be here. Every year at my school, we're told to encourage and enhance diversity and acceptance in the classroom. So I ask this question to you. Why are you making that more difficult? It is human nature for us to accept the reality that is put before us and to look for ourselves in that reality. In essence, we are a reflection of what is presented to us, an echo of what we are shown. We are the end result of centuries of progress and deserve, rightly so, to see ourselves in that progress, staring back at us from a textbook, from the written word that proclaims that we were here. We were a part of this. We mattered. And we have a right to see that someone like us was a part of it. Me, you, her. To ignore certain events, certain people, certain types is an injustice to them, to their existence. But beyond the textbook, what do we have? The practices of daily life, the spoken and unspoken, conscious and subconscious actions of our being, not of our own, but a reflection of what is given to us. Mother to daughter, father to son, teacher to student, writer to reader. And if we don't see ourselves in what is given to us, we are lost, with no identity, nothing to relate to, nothing to connect to. Imagine that for your daughter, your niece, your wife, your friend. Now, why am I speaking on their behalf? I, of all people. Truth is, I'm not. The only person I speak for is hopefully my future daughter, because I don't want her growing up in a world where she doesn't feel like she belongs. Keep women's history in the curriculum and the textbooks. I'm not asking for much here. Keep it in, and you could keep girls interested in school, decrease the dropout rate, and probably decrease teen pregnancy because you can't do it if you're too busy doing homework. Oh, that was a joke from my first draft, and I probably should have cut it. Remind these girls, these women, that they belong. Do that, and then we can start working on everything else. Thank you very much.
Hey there.
Oh God, not the food again!
What? I missed lunch. Look, I want to apologize. Sincerely.
No, you had a few good points. Like 2, but still.
So is your wife preggers?
No, but we can probably work on it tonight.
Gross. Well, in any case, thank you for fighting on behalf of the feminist movement.
You're welcome.
Never do it again.
I feel strangely good about that.
Hey, how'd it go?
I was wondering when you'd show.
Sorry, stuff came up. How'd it go?
I think it went well. They're discussing it right now.
So you made the speech work?
Yeah, finally.
How'd you do that?
Just spoke from the heart.
Always a good strategy. Shouldn't you be in there?
I think I've said all I had to say. It's up to them now. Hey, can I be blunt about something?
Sure, I guess.
I think you have enough credibility to show your face.
Well, my publisher disagrees.
What does he know? Without showing your face, your name, your talent sells those books. Shouldn't that matter more than what you look like?
If only the world were that simple. I suppose you do have a point, though. DW here was just telling me something similar.
He can be pretty deep sometimes. Is that right?
What?
I think you might be right.
I think you need a new publisher.
Yeah, that could help.
Hey, sweetie, you did great up there. Dale, I thought...
Yeah, sorry about before.
Why? What?
It's no big deal.
Yeah, not anymore.
I'm confused.
Do you trust me?
Of course.
Then just smile and nod.
Okay.
That easy, huh?
Oh, just think, Dale. This could have been you.
I think I'm a little more okay with how things turned out. Look, I just came to say goodbye. I'm flying out tonight.
Oh, really? Do you have to?
Had to push up a few dates on the book tour. It is how it is. Life goes on. Good luck with everything. Let me know how it turns out.
We will.
Sure. Let's go, DW.
Hey, speecher.
Yeah.
Honesty is the only thing.
Who said that?
I just did. You're not as smart as you think.
Come on.
Well, they just wrapped up the discussion.
And?
Well, it'll be put under consideration and then probably put to judiciary and then voted on, which could take a while.
How long?
6 months to a year.
Wait, so what was the point in all this if it's going to take that long to get anything done?
Hey, calm down. It's just how things are around here. But you gotta nudge the boulder before it rolls down the hill.
Again with the wordplay.
But the good news is I'm pretty sure they liked what you said, and they're going to go forward with rewriting the curriculum.
That's great.
Yeah, they just got to figure out what to cut first. Probably the War of 1812. No one really cares about that anyway.
No, that should stay too. Just because nothing came of it doesn't mean it didn't matter. Something happened, something changed, even if only for a moment.
Well, they can't keep everything.
Sweetie, what was the War of 1812 about?
Okay, I could do this. Dale gave me a really simple way of explaining it. See, the Americans and the British. No. Wait. Start with Canada. Maybe New Orleans. On second thought, maybe we can cut the War of 1812.
I'll talk to some of them. Say you mentioned it.
Say, did you get the press you wanted?
Enough of it. We'll just see what happens. It's all you can do, really. In the meanwhile, I know a place downtown we can go. Celebrate a little. Shall we?
Amelia Earhart once said, "The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the procedure, the process, is its own reward."